Hey friends, welcome to Gardening with Creekside. Today we are going to spend the day out here on the back patio going ahead and planting our summer annuals. Here we are, gosh, what, mid-April, early mid-April, North Carolina Zone 8A, and it is definitely go time. It is time to go ahead and get those sweet annuals in the ground, or at least begin the process, right? We will be doing this for quite a while. We've already started, and the plants back here that we've planted, you were with us, they are looking great and doing wonderful. We're going to continue working on the back patio and this area because, of course, as most of you know, we're going to be hosting a wedding at the end of May, and then we have the Creekside Signature Experience at the end of June. I will have people up in these areas, up close and personal, touching, feeling, seeing all of these plants, and I want to make the space as beautiful as possible. What we're going to do today, you can see behind me, it's a multi-approach. We're going to plant the annuals, but we also have a little bit of maintenance to do on some of the shrubs. So I'm going to take you through the whole process and explain what we are going to do. So let's start with first things first. We are going to do a little bit of maintenance, like I said, on the shrubs. Within this area, this is obviously our back patio, our house, the back porch, and we have had this patio here for a couple of years now and just really love this space. We have raised beds surrounding the patio. So we're going to start kind of here on the end. I am going to give you an update on the boxes because I know a lot of y'all were asking about that, so we're going to do that. I have David Austin roses in here, and in this bed we have, this is Desdemona. Desdemona is, oh my gosh y'all, she is covered in buds. I mean, there are rose buds all over this plant. I adore Desdemona. It smells amazing. Classic rose fragrance, really soft pink flowers. So she has been pruned. Yesterday, Brenna and I were in here. We cleaned up all the beds and all the shrubs got fertilized. So rose tone for the roses. We have the blue chiffon Rose of Sharon. This is in a standard form. She is just leafing out, but it is that standard form. So basically like a little tree, right? So the blue chiffon is here. It got plant tone. Then we have Emily Bronte. Emily Bronte, I had to have Emily Bronte because of course our daughter, our oldest daughter's name is Emily. So we have Emily Bronte. She too is covered in rosebuds. So nice, beautiful, upright habit growth, just a very happy plant. Obviously, she got rose tone as well. Then in this next bed, we have Sprinter boxwoods. They get plant tone, and then we have the white shishi camellias. They get holly tone because they love the acid. What we're going to do is come in here. This is my time to do my annual pruning on the boxwoods. You can see that they have got gorgeous new growth on them, right? I mean, all of this soft, beautiful growth on it, but they're looking a little woolly, shall we say. You can see back there, we had rain a couple of days ago, and when we have rain and they start to, I don't want to say split open, but when the new foliage gets all really heavy with water, then they start to kind of lay down. That's when I know it's time to come in here and prune them. So we're going to prune these. Last year you were with us when we were in this bed, kind of doing the exact same thing we're doing today, and Jerry pruned the boxwoods. And let me tell you, Brother went after it. He pruned them hard. It took a little while for them to flush out lots of new growth. I'm going to be more gentle simply because the plants can handle it. The plants clearly are perfectly fine with the way that he pruned them. But in 6 weeks or less, we're going to have a wedding, and I don't want them to look like, oh, they just got pruned. I want them to have a nice, gentle shape to them. So I'm going to be a little bit more gentle with them. So we're going to walk you through that, and then that's all that's in this flower bed, right, is the camellias, the Sprinter boxwoods, and then down here on the corner of the steps on both sides, I have Southern Livings. This is the Diamond Spire Gardenia. Now you'll notice that especially this one has some yellow leaves to it. It could be gardenias. It's like take your pick. Either too much water, not enough water, it got too cold, or it got too hot all of a sudden. They can be a little bit of a finicky plant sometimes, but I am not worried about it because you will see deep down in, like on the tips, I've got lots of brand new growth. So they are very happy as far as they're rebounding. They will be fine. Gardenias get holly tone as well because they are acidic loving plants. Down here, that other diamond spire, then we have 3 more David Austin roses. This is a Scepter d'Isle, gorgeous. The fragrance is not my favorite because it has that kind of a myrrh smell, but you can see loads of buds in here. Also, I just noticed this, y'all, right? I share my messes and successes. Look, can you see? I don't know, I'll try to maybe take a close-up picture. We've got aphids. So I have not treated my roses yet. Maybe doing that today. Aphids, you can squeeze them in your hand. It's really gross, but that's a great way to kill them. It's a great organic way to kill them. So what that happens is they suck on the roses. Not only roses, but just about any other plant. Here in the South, it's not a question, are you going to get aphids? The question is, when are you going to get aphids? So aphids will suck on the plant, the leaves, the tender new growth, and that's how they get the nutrition, but they can also inject, I don't know, whatever's in there. So I don't want things chewing on my roses. So we may add that to the list of things to do today, is to treat the roses for those sucking insects. I use the Fertilome tree and shrub drench mix. So that takes anything that chews on the plant. Aphids, the Japanese beetles, the, what is it, the leaf, there's another little caterpillar that chews on them. So I think we're going to add that to the list of things to do today as well. Also, what we're going to do is there is irrigation in these beds, but if you can see, there is a solid black tube right here that has an emitter just for the rose. These roses need more water, and then back there, it's hard to see. Let's move down here because you can see it here behind Gertrude Jekyll. Behind each of the roses, I have a clematis, and the clematis need more water. They are starting to grow, but they need more water. So we're going to add on to the irrigation here. Gertrude Jekyll, like I said, she has a couple of buds as well. Yep, there we go. It is so exciting. This never gets old. When you see buds on your roses, it never ever gets old. And then finally, we have Brother Codful that has buds as well. So, and the clematis. See, this clematis is a little bit more vigorous back here. So we're going to, of course, get the irrigation fixed on that. So what we're going to do, first things first, we got to do the maintenance. Got to do some maintenance before we have the fun of planting the annuals. Speaking of annuals, let's look and see what we're going to put in here today, friends. We've got 3 different annuals we're going to put in. Saffron finch, Super Petunia saffron finch. Adore this brand new petunia from Proven Winners. We trialed it last year in the deck boxes and it did amazing. So we are going to go ahead and put a solid planting of the saffron finches all along the edge of both walls. Last year I did the Mini Vista White. I said I would never do anything different because it was just absolutely gorgeous. Yeah, changed my mind. We're gonna do saffron finch. So saffron finch all along there. I have 6 trays. I'm sure that's way too many, but I would rather have a tray too many than a tray too short, and then I can put one back. Cleome. I love Cleome. This is Senorita Rosalita, and it is a beautiful, very upright annual. It is thornless. It does not have the fragrance that, the odor that traditional Cleome have, but we're definitely going to go with the yellow and kind of pink theme this year. The Senorita Rosalitas are going to go, I'm going to do a mass planting on each side of the steps, and then we're going to put one plant between the gardenias, the camellias, and the sprinters. So that will give me some height and some backdrop. So we're going to use those in there. And then last but certainly not least is the Catalina Pink Terrenia. It's a great, beautiful ground cover if you're putting it in the landscape, or a trailing plant if you put it in a container. So what we're going to do with the Catalina Pink, which can do sun or shade, the pollinators love this plant. We're going to go ahead and put this in mass down here underneath the 2 roses and the Rose of Sharon. So that's where the annuals are going to go. I have got all my tools, I've got all my supplies here that we are going to use. So I think first things first, we're going to get started with the more, quote, challenging things, and we're going to go ahead and extend the irrigation, and we are going to trim the boxwoods, and then we'll go ahead and treat the roses, and then we'll take care of the annuals. So get the camera set up. Let me show you how I'm going to fix this irrigation. All right, my friends, I know you can't see me. Hi. But this is the best way that I could figure out how to get this zoomed in. This is the current black solid line right here. There is an emitter right here dripping directly on this rose. What I'm going to do is I'm going to add another emitter right here to the solid black line, and then attach my skinny brown tubing that has drippers all throughout it, because I have my clematis right here. This area is directly underneath the eave of the house, so this is extremely dry. I need to get more water to the clematis, and the rose needs it. So I'm going to put this emitter on. I have my punch right here. So you simply put the line in right there and you squeeze it, and it puts a little hole. So the hole's going to be here. I want the hole on this side, so I will punch it this way. I always have to think about this for a second when I do it. And then you punch it, and then I have a hole right here. So I take my emitter, snap it in, and then you can see it's right here. So now what I'm going to do is take my brown tube, squeeze it in, wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. May take a little maneuvering, right? And then I want this to essentially come around the clematis as such, and then go around the front of the rose. So I'm just going to cut off a piece. There we go. Okay, so what I have right here, right, it's laid out. I just went ahead and went behind the trellis, just makes it easier. And then I've got landscape staples. Jackson's actually going to go get me another one, and we're just going to kind of push this down, and it'll hold it in place. When we come back with our compost, we'll cover this up so you won't see it, or I could just bury it in here. Now, on the other end, you have two options at this point. You can either put in another emitter and tie it back into this line, or you can use a little stopper. I'm going to use the little stopper. It is a little black. It ends it. So we just take it in there and push it in. Sometimes it's easier said than done. All right, I think you can see that there's the little stop in here right now, and that's it. So we just have kind of a clothesline, and there you go. So we're gonna run this around the front of the rose and then tack it back down when he comes with some more landscape staples. The emitters are on the roses and the clematis, so now we're going to move our attention to the boxwoods. Pretty simple. We want to just give them a good haircut. With your boxwoods, you tend to want the bottom to be a little wider and come up a little bit more narrow up at the top. That way the sun gets to all of the boxwood and gives it, of course, a nice even growth on this. I'm going to be a little conservative, and if I need to take off more, I can take off more, but you can't add back to the plant. What I'm using is my electric trimmers. Jerry got these for me years ago. It's from Steel. battery operated. I love them because it's easy to start and stop, and it's very lightweight. So I have that. I have my hand rake, so that way when all the little pieces fall, I can rake them up and then put them into my pop-up container. So that's what I'm gonna go for, is a nice overall pretty shape, and here we go. Okay, y'all, I think I'm very happy with that. It's obviously it's a little meatballish, but that's all right. It is not a severe prune. I got all of the heavy top new growth off, but yet it still has a nice pretty shape to it, and that's what we're gonna go for. So now I get to replicate that with the other 4 that are left. All right, my friends, so the boxwoods have been trimmed, and then I clean them up. It makes it really easy when you use that little hand rake, because it can just get in there, get underneath the boxwoods, get them all cleaned up. So we've got that done, got the irrigation done. Now we're gonna go ahead and treat the roses for chewing critters on my roses. This is what I use. You be a student of your own garden. You make the best decision for your garden, but this is what I use in my garden because I find it the most effective, and it's less work on me in the long run because it lasts for 12 months. This is the Fertilome Tree and Shrub Drench. You can use this on perennials, trees, and shrubs where you have to protect them from chewing insects. Like I said, in my garden, the main culprits that I'm going to be trying to prevent from destroying my plants are the aphids, the Japanese beetles, and even the sawtooth fly larva, which is a really tiny little green caterpillar that predominantly will go on my roses and my summerific hibiscus. They're little tiny little green caterpillars on the back side of the leaf that chew holes in the plants. So if you have that problem, then that could be what it is. Sometimes they're very hard to find because they're so stinking little, but they're on the back side of the leaf. Again, this is for 12 months. It is a systemic. So what we do is we open up the directions on the back. It has a little chart that, so for example, this is the one for, I know the sun is really bright, but this is for trees. So it tells you based on the size of the plant is going to be how much you use it. I am looking underneath the category of the shrubs, which I had it just a second ago. I'm going to find it again here for you. So based on the size of the plant, and like for my roses, yes, like right now they're one size, but as they continue to grow, obviously they're going to get bigger, like within this season. So I can't get the page turned because it's wet. I was looking at the shrubs. Here we go. So my shrubs, my roses, will definitely this season be 4 feet tall. So they're going to be 4 feet tall. So I look on the little chart, and so the shrub height in feet is 4 feet. Amount of the drench is 12 fluid ounces. I mix it with 1 gallon of water, and then I'm going to pour that 1 gallon of water very slowly about 2 feet out from the plant around in a circle. The plant will then soak up the fertilome tree shrub drench through the roots, and then it protects the plant. I know the big question is with a lot of people is this harmful to pollinators? I am not a scientist. I am a gardener, right? I look at observations. I have used this for many years. I am very selective with what I use it on. I only use this on plants where I have a problem. By no means do I just go willy-nilly and use this all over the place. But we have not seen a decline in our pollinator population. So I'm just telling you from my experience, I do not have any evidence or suspicious activity that would tell me that this hurts my pollinators. Obviously, if it hurt my pollinators and I knew that it would, then I would not use it. But this is what I use. So what I'm going to do is just show you really quickly how to do it. You can use whatever kind of container you want. Excuse me, I have a 2-gallon watering can. It has the increments here on the side that tells me the measurements. I'm going to go ahead and mix up the whole 2 gallons. That means it's going to do 2 roses. So since my rose is going to be 4 feet, I'm supposed to use 12 ounces per shrub. So I have a glass measuring cup that also tells me my ounces. So 12 per rose, I'm going to do 2. So then 12 plus 12 is 24. So I'm going to do 24 ounces of the fertilome. I personally like to add the drench in the container first. That way when I add the water, it mixes it up. It's like a milky white substance. And so that's what I like to do the best. Actually going to take the wand off, like the nozzle, so it's a little more forceful and I can get in there and stir. All right, so it's all mixed in, and then what I simply do is come out from the plant, right? And this one plant gets a gallon. Now, yes, that Rose of Sharon is going to soak up some of the drench, and that's okay because I have critters that chew on it as well. Stop every once in a while. Check where you are. And I did. Man, I did exactly 1 gallon. All right, we're gonna do the next one. All right, so it's as easy as that. Lasts you for 1 calendar year, 12 months, boom. What I use on it, like I said, whatever is chewing on, whatever plants get chewed on. So roses, summerific hibiscus, Japanese maples, what else? I'm trying to think what else. If I have trees that get chewed on, so we have the elm up there at the chicken coop, so that was a problem last year, so I'll do my elm. Your cherry trees, because my cherry trees get eaten on, so I do those as well. You do what's best for your garden. I'm doing what's best for my garden. I've got 3 more roses to do, and then we can finally start planting some annuals and really transform this for the spring, summer season. All right, friends. All the work is done. Now the fun part begins. We get to put the color into the flower beds. We're going to start here with the Terenia, then we'll do the Cleomes and do the saffron finches. I'm going to prepare the beds all the same way. I have got the Proven Winners. This is the time release fertilizer. It is pelleted. You can add it like I'm going to do and add it to the surface of the soil first before I plant, or you could dig the hole, put a scoop in the bottom of it, and then put the plant in and put the soil back. Either way, your plant's going to get fed. Don't overthink that. Either way is just fine. I just do it for a simple ease and just prepare the beds all the same way. So gets a time release fertilizer. Last year when we did this bed, it made all the difference in the world using the Biotone starter fertilizer. Gonna sprinkle it down in the beds as well. Go ahead and put it down first. As I'm adding in the plants, it'll get mixed in with the soil. Anything else will just kind of leach down when it rains or it gets water. This was a huge difference maker last year because it gave me really strong, happy, healthy roots from the beginning. Long term, I only probably used my water soluble fertilizer maybe twice, maybe 3 times in the entire season, and my plants were stunning. Great soil makes all the difference. I am not amending this soil before I plant because every time we have planted in here in the past couple of years, we have amended the soil. It is beautiful soil and my level is not too low. So I will be just fine. When we're all done with the planting and everything is said and done, then I'm going to come back through and we're going to mulch top dress with land and sea. So that land and sea compost is going to act as my mulch, and it will also, as we say, it breaks down, it feeds the plants, and then it enriches my soil. So that's the approach that I'm going to do today. I am just going to plant everybody the exact same as far as laying down all the amendments, putting them down. So once everybody is in the ground and I've got my land and seed down, I will come back and we're going to look at the whole big picture of this space together. Alrighty, y'all. The project for today is complete. It is all done. This project is completely buttoned up. We're gonna keep our fingers crossed we don't have a super hard freeze because a little frost we can handle. We can handle some cool temperatures, just no hard freezes. As long as we do that, then I don't have to plant anything in here at all until the fall when I put in like tulips, and that'll be December. So yay me. This is definitely the earliest I have ever done this bed, this garden, but you know, nothing like a little pressure of a wedding to make you move with purpose around here, right? So excited to have this done. It has been an all-day project. It is after 4 o'clock. I think I got started maybe like around 10. And so it's been an all-day project, but I took it slow. You know, I was like, Jenny, you have nothing else to do today. You got tacos for supper. Don't have to go to the grocery store. Easy supper. Enjoy being outside. So that is exactly what I did. So let me show you kind of the whole big picture. I had to go back and get some more of the Catalina Pink Terrenia because 10 wasn't quite enough. The Catalina is going to be so fun because it is going to be covered in those sweet pink blooms that the pollinators just love, especially the bumblebees, because it's so fat and open that they can get their little fat bodies in there. So I went ahead and filled them in. They can do sun or shade. The minimum spacing on these guys was 8 inches. So I think I did pretty good. I didn't do, you know, I didn't jam pack them in here like crazy. They're only going to get 8 to 12 inches tall. And then of course they're going to spread out. So that's going to be fun. We're going to have like a little pink Terrenia carpet right here. I did not go super far up underneath the roses and or Rose of Sharon just because I know they're going to get bigger, right? And so I just want these guys to fill in right here. They're going to start to come over the wall. They're going to go back. So it'll be great coverage right here. And definitely, like I said, doing that kind of that pink and yellow theme for this year. All of my roses back here are in some shade of pink. So the 3 on the wall are roughly the same color. Gertrude Jekyll's a little bit more intense, but they're all in that nice soft pink, so that works well. These are the colors, the color palette for Alyssa's wedding. So again, all of that will work in quite nicely all together. The saffron finches, now I jammed those in there pretty good. I probably did, well, I don't know, 10 to 12 inches apart from each other. So they are in there, and they of course will spill over. They're going to be like one mass carpet. They're going to spill over and be nice and full. I know that I'm cutting it kind of close here with my boxwood. That's all right. We'll work with it as it goes this year. I know they'll probably come over and kiss this. Last year, I just absolutely adored my Mini Vista Whites right here. They were absolute perfection. And maybe I made a mistake by putting saffron finch. I really don't think so because I grew it last year and loved it. But I've never done it like this as a solid border. Time will tell, right? Gardening is one big experiment. I know it's going to be stunning. I just don't know about as far as the vigor of it. I don't know if it's going to be too vigorous for this space. I may have to go back to a Mini Vista next year. I won't know until I try, so I'm trying. And then I only put, of course, 1 Cleome between the boxwood and the camellias. Senorita Rosalita, she's going to be a big girl. I mean, she gets tall. She's going to get 24 to 48 inches tall. And given this space, I almost guarantee by the end of the season, she is going to be that big. And then spacing would be about like 12 inches apart from each other. So this is just perfect to have one of those between each of the evergreen shrubs. They're going to come up, they're going to come, eventually they're going to, you know, peek-a-boo over the wall right there, and so it'll be great. Now, in the corners, I do a heavy load. So on this corner is a little bit, my space is a little bit smaller. So I put 3 Cleome in there. Of course, I have my precious rusted art, yard art from Rusty Sparrow Design off of Etsy. If you're interested, go check them out. This, of course, is like a coneflower, and then you've got the dragonflies right there. But the 3 Cleome are going to grow together and look like one mass Cleome. They're going to completely fill in this area, and before I know it, I'm going to have to move my little dancing dragonflies because the Cleomes are going to overtake it. So I will have to move those towards the end of the summer. Now coming across to the other side, I have a little bit of a bigger space here. So I went ahead and put in 5 of them. Let's see if I can maneuver over here a little bit easier. The sun is being a little challenging for me today. So there are 5 right in there. Now, there is not irrigation per se on any of the annuals. That's one great thing, about course, about getting them planted now, is that we still have cooler temperatures, so they're not under a lot of heat stress. We're getting more consistent rain than we would say in like June or July. I will, if it doesn't rain, I'll have to come out here and water them. Of course, I watered everybody in. After I got that land and seed down, everybody got a nice drink of water, so they're good to go. But like I said, annuals are not on irrigation, so if I need to supplement, I'll have to do hand watering on that. Now, I don't do the cleome here on this wall because the roses just, they just get too big. It would be way too crowded, and I like having the roses being the centerpiece there. But of course, the saffron finches go all the way down. I didn't do a ton down here on this corner simply because I know this is the white chiffon Rose of Sharon, and it will fill in big time. In fact, I have to kind of watch her because she will get a little bit too aggressive over here and block out the sun for Brother Codfield. So I just have to kind of keep her more columnar and upright, which it'll be fine, not a problem. So I'm not going to have a ton of sun right here. That's why I just put the one saffron finch right there. And then this big, beautiful beast right here. This is Little Quickfire. Little Quickfire hydrangea. She is not so little. She will get huge. She will completely come over here. There will be no spacing between these 2 plants. You can see how close she is to yin and yang viburnum right there, but it is gorgeous and I love it. It's really full. So as the season progresses, I will basically have a wall of plants right here, which I love because it kind of nooks in this garden and makes it very kind of not so open and exposed, right? So that's what I love about it. So let's see, yeah, land and seed went down, everybody got watered. Of course, the biotone, the time-release fertilizers in there, all those things. Let's go look really quickly up at the deck boxes because time's ticking on these guys. And I'll explain why. But as we flip around, I'll let you see it from this side. Yesterday, when Brennan and I were in here cleaning up, I went ahead and pulled the tulips. So the tulips are out. So you see those absolutely precious violas, which have been amazing. I love them. Of course, then we have the Ascot Rainbow. So this is the Ascot Rainbow right here, which is a spurge. It is blooming. It is one of my all-time favorite perennials. So when I go to pull these out, I will simply relocate those Ascot Rainbows somewhere else in the garden because I do adore them. Then this is cardoon. People were asking, they thought maybe it was artichoke. It is not artichoke, it is cardoon. I believe it too will be a perennial for me. I don't think I'll lose it in the heat of the summer. And they are gorgeous. So I may find a spot for them too because they are just so fun. All right, let me hop up on the deck and you can see it from a different perspective. Here we go from this perspective. With the cardoon, I had to keep it throughout the season because as the branches came over, they would get kind of yellow and crusty. So you just kind of clean them up. But I know that this flower bed is basically really being done because I actually had to water it for the first time all season yesterday. And look at the violas. See how they're pushing down? You get in there close and they're getting kind of they are getting thin, leggy, however you want to like look at it. And so they're getting really close to being done. Plus, knowing my frost date is rapidly approaching, the last frost date is rapidly approaching, and I need to get my annuals in. It might even happen next week. I don't know. So violas, of course, here in the South, they are a cool weather crop for us, meaning that we plant them in fall. So I could plant them depending, it could be September, October, November, December. It just depends on when you're ready to plant them. And so they go in and they are a cool weather crop. And then they go all the way through the winter into early spring like they're doing right now. Can we just talk about that blue sky? Look at that. Isn't that gorgeous? And the trees, they're getting green on them. Makes my heart happy. So violas, as soon as it starts getting warm, and we have had like some 80-degree days, that's why they're like, it's hot, we don't like this. So whereas other parts of the country, maybe Maine, Michigan, cooler places, right, that they use pansies and violas as an early spring crop. Not here. It's the fall and winter. Springtime, we have to chunk them out so we can get our summer annuals in. It's a little bit of a conundrum for the gardener, but that's all right. We make it work. So really fun. I have already made my hanging baskets that will go up here. They're currently hanging out in the greenhouse. So I have 2 hanging baskets, one here and then one down there because I have my wind chime in the middle. And they are going to be filled and are filled with the Selenia yellow begonia. I had them last year, but this year I put Dichondra silver falls in them. So really fun. Tonight's going to be in the upper 30s. Begonias don't probably like it that cool, so I'm going to wait till we get past tonight and then I'll hang them up. So next time we're in this space, you'll see them. All right, my friends, there's a lot of things that are blooming and just looking gorgeous. I think we need to do like a little mini garden tour here because I've got a clematis that's blooming. My lilac is getting ready to explode. My Japanese maple is beautiful. It is a beautiful time to be a gardener here in North Carolina. It feels great to have this project done because it was a big project, but like I said, it's one that will just finish me out. Perfect timing for the wedding. In fact, we're meeting with Alyssa here as soon as I get done so we can talk about wedding plans. So exciting. Less than probably, what, 6 weeks? So lots of fun. As always, thanks so much for joining us. Y'all have an amazing day. We'll see you in the next video. Bye, friends.